So we're going to go through some housekeeping things before we get started for this evening's event. Number one, and most importantly, we ask that all attendees follow the Girl Scout Promise and Law while participating in all of our Girl Scouts in Nassau County virtual programs and events, including this evening's event. We also ask that you make sure that you're in speaker view rather than gallery view. And if you need to edit that, it should be in the upper right-hand corner of your screen where it says speaker view. You can click on that and adjust. We also ask that you remain muted unless you have any questions or comments, at which point please use the hand raise function. And we also want to let you know that we'll be recording this evening's Zoom session. And all questions should be posted in the chat box so that they can be answered either during the event or followed up after the event by one of our staff members. And that's it.
And now it is my pleasure to introduce our CEO of Girl Scouts of Nassau County, Randy Bynum, to do the welcome.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm so excited to see all these faces. I had to scroll through a couple of pages to see everyone. I'm Randy Bynum, the CEO of Girl Scouts of Nassau County. For those of you who haven't met me, Girl Scouts of Nassau County serves about 16,000 girls, and we're really excited to host our first leadership connection for our volunteers. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Recently, I wrote an open letter to our membership, and I just wanted to share some of those highlights with you in case you haven't seen them. So as you know, about 6 months ago, actually it's 191 days ago, since everything felt normal. Everything we do now is different to what we're used to, and the uncertainty of what's going to happen next can be overwhelming. One thing that has kept me going is that Girl Scouts in Nassau County is proudly kicking off its 102nd year of serving girls and families in Nassau County. We are a legacy organization, we're resilient, and we're a pillar in the Nassau County community. And so if anything's going to come out on the other side, Girl Scouts will. And I do remember proudly standing throughout this county on our 100th anniversary saying how excited I was to lead us into the next century, really not knowing what was ahead. But now as I look back on the last 6 months, I see how our continued response has not only kept our girls and families safer, but also engaged. We continue to strive for excellence every day, and we continue to raise the bar. We know that girls need Girl Scouts now more than ever, and that the world needs Girl Scouts now more than ever. Right now, girls are facing unprecedented challenges. As schools are struggling to figure out how to best get students in the classroom, either in person or virtually, we are all concerned about students falling behind. We're also concerned about how self-isolating and social distancing will impact young people's need to connect and have peer interaction. And finally, we're dealing with the financial impact of this pandemic, as well as the overall stress in our personal well-being. Anybody stressed out? Girl Scouts still offers the best leadership development experience for girls in Nassau County. We are the only girl-led organization with the infrastructure, scale, and know-how and history to meet girls' needs right now and in the future. Membership makes us stronger, but it also makes our girls stronger. Being active in Girl Scouts responds to all the concerns on everyone's mind. Girl Scouts can help mitigate learning loss, Girl Scouts supports girls' mental health, and Girl Scouts promotes equity and civic education. Across Nassau County, I know there are thousands of girls with untapped talents and leadership skills who just need the opportunities to be realized with Girl Scouts. And Girl Scouts is there for them to hit those opportunities. I am so proud of this council and how we've stuck together through this pandemic. I'm hopeful and excited about what is ahead for us. And I'm grateful for your tireless commitment to Girl Scouts of Nassau County. So thank you. And right now I'm pleased, like super pleased, to introduce Gabby Gibbs. Gabby is a senior Girl Scout. She's been in Troop 3095 since kindergarten. She's earned both her bronze and silver awards. I'm guessing she's on her way to earn her gold. She's an active member of the Media Girls. She was a member of the Girl Scouts of Nassau County Chorus for 3 years. And in 2017, Gabby attended the 54th National Convention in Columbus, Ohio, where she sang as part of the talent show. Gabby and I have had many opportunities to work together. And so this is a perfect transition and handoff to introduce your MC and panel host for tonight, Gabby Gibbs. Gabby?
Hi, I'm Gabby. I just want to welcome everyone to the first GSNC Leadership Connection Fall Kickoff. Yay! How's everyone doing tonight? Okay, so we have 119 leaders and volunteers participating tonight. It is wonderful to have you to join us for the first of many Leadership Connection events. I am very excited to hear your voices and to see all of your faces without masks. As with all Girl Scout gatherings, let's start by raising our right hand and recite the Girl Scout promise. On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. As with all Girl Scout gatherings, I said that already. Okay. Welcome, panelists. We are pleased to have 3 experienced leaders join us in this event who have agreed to answer and discuss some issues that are relevant to all of us during these unprecedented times. Our panelists include Alan Wright, Christy Raysig, Fatima Perry, and Fran O'Connor. At this time, I'd like each panelist to briefly tell us about themselves and give a little background about their Girl Scout experience, including how many years you've been a volunteer. Let's start with Alan, then Christy, then Fatima, and Fran.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alan. I have a vast experience of 1 year in the Girl Scouts. So I have a little second grader, and when she entered first grade a year ago, I looked around in our little village of Seacliff on the North Shore, and there was no Girl Scouts for her grade. There was one on the older grade, but none for her grade. And so I thought, well, we should have a Girl Scout troop. So I approached the Girl Scouts and started the troop, and then of course became the troop leader because of that. So we had a very good year, and then it was derailed, obviously, like everybody else's, but that's my experience with the Girl Scouts.
So I'm Christy Raysig, very excited to be here. I have been a Girl Scout troop leader for 10 years. I have maybe 35 to 40 high school Girl Scouts. I don't know if you know this, but once they get to high school, they're very last minute Charlie with registering. So they're not as good as Alan said with the younger troop. But I had, in the spring, I had 18 girls and in my older troop, and I have 18 girls in 8th grade. But these girls started at St. Anne's, and my high school girls go to 7 or 8 different public and Catholic high schools, from Manhattan to Nassau County to Suffolk County to Queens. We have embraced the beautiful opportunity of traveling throughout the years. We've been to Manhattan, Philadelphia, Hershey, Washington, D.C., Albany. I have slept on every aquarium, museum, Intrepid, battleship, floor, train in the Camp Kaufman, Camp Lube, you name it, I've slept there. And I have several girls that just finished their gold. I had 6 girls that finished gold this past year, and I'm torturing like 10 more girls. And I have 8 girls that finished their silver. And during the pandemic, my younger troop in 8th grade, we met every week virtually to work on a religious Marian Award. And so I threw in speakers that talked about the pandemic and issues, because as our fearless leader said, girls need Girl Scouts more now than ever. So we didn't miss a beat. We did dinner programs, we did scavenger hunts, all virtually. Who's up next?
I believe it's me. Great evening. Chrissy, you're funny. I just love your whole introduction. I need to meet you. My
I'm
name is
happily
Fatima.
married, but anytime I'm up for going out. So let me know.
Absolutely. My name is Fatima Perry. I'm from Troop 1134. We're located in Hempstead. And I started thinking about the question of how long have I been, I haven't been a leader for many years, but my oldest daughter is 31. And I joined and I volunteered throughout her years as a Girl Scout. My youngest daughter is 21 and I've been involved with her troop, and I actually have been a leader in her troop. So I want to say I've been around volunteering for a long time. My girls range from 5 up to 18, and we're a mixed troop. So we have from daisies all the way up to seniors. And I work with 3 other leaders, and I have to say it's a blessing to work with them. We work really well together. We mesh well together. We're going to travel this year before the pandemic hit. So, you know, that's another goal of ours once the pandemic is over. But we really do things that we believe that that inspire and uplift our girls. And we work really well together. And even during the pandemic, we did a few exercises. And I have to say, shout out to Girl Scouts, because the online virtual meetings and learning how to do some activities, I found myself getting a little lost trying to take the cereal box and make it into like a book so it could be a journal. And I kept trying to do it over and over again. And I kept watching the tape over. And I thank you for putting it up there. But, you know, I finally worked it out. So I'm really grateful for the lessons, because I think through the pandemic, I've learned some new things. And so I'm really, really super excited because we have our first, and I said first, Gold Award recipient this year. So we're excited, and we have 2 that are striving this year as well. So it's a pleasure to see everyone on here this evening, and I look forward to getting to know even more of you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Fran O'Connor. I'm from Jericho, Syosset. I was a girl. As a girl, I was a Girl Scout for 11 years. I have received my Gold Award, and I have been a leader for 9 years. Oops, sorry. My older troop are seniors. They're 9th and 10th grade. And I have 11 girls, which I'm proud that we have 11 in high school. It's hard to keep them retained at that age. And I'm proud to say that out of the 11, 8 of them received their silver award and are working on their gold. And one of them happens to be Gabby Gibbs, so I'm very excited and proud of her right now. And then I have a brownie troop, and for my little daughter, and I have 15 girls in that troop. I have been, there's a list, so I had to write it down. I have been the MAGS chair for the service unit, the cookie chair for my service unit. I've been a service unit delegate, a national delegate. I was supposed to go to Orlando. Little sad about that, but that's okay. And I am a lifetime member, and I am currently the new SUVM for Jericho Syosset. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you.
That is great. Thank you. So now that we know a little bit about our panelists, I can start off with some questions. Okay. So in the past, it has always been recommended that troop leaders plan meetings regularly in order to maintain girl camaraderie and infuse troop experiences with life lessons. How can your troop ensure this continuity and keep their attention virtually until in-person troop meetings are able to fully occur again? Anyone can answer.
I'll go first.
Oh, go ahead.
You, Fran, you want to go?
Sure. So when the whole pandemic hit, I started virtual meetings with both troops immediately. I didn't even let a week pass. I wanted them to not forget about Girl Scouts. I wanted to be there, to be that that solid person that they could count on, to have something normal in their lives. So we've been meeting every week since March, and that's the way that I kept them active. And I just made sure that I was continuing what they were used to. Alan?
Yeah, ours is similar. We were meeting, you know, we were brand new, but we were meeting quite well every other week on a specific time. on a specific day. And when the pandemic hit, we went immediately to virtual. And it was so successful, actually. And these were first graders, and they were all having to deal with their own virtual schooling too, which was difficult, right? But they loved the virtual meetings. And so we actually went to weekly meetings instead of every other week. And we did it by making sure everything was fun, really. We had guest speakers come in, and we did games, and we let the kids hang out afterwards and chat among themselves a bit. And it worked really well. And we're now, of course, everybody knows that the Girl Scouts are allowing in-person meetings again. So we're sort of already transitioning back. And I just wanted to mention that our plan is that we're going to in-person meetings, and we are going to do that as long as we can, either because of the weather or because of changes in the restrictions. And then we will, if needed, go back to virtual ones again. But our keeping the consistency has been hugely important for sure, not just for the girls, but for the parents too.
I also think it's important. You have to use the resources at Girl Scouts. Kathy in, Girl Scout Information Center, from when my kids were daisies, brownie, juniors, I would go in there and beg for help. What are we doing today? And I would take that box and have a meeting. Now, when you do it, if you're doing it virtually, if you're meeting at a park, whatever, Kathy is invaluable because she has journeys in a box. She has activities, whatever you do. And many of those are geared for an hour and a half meeting, or whatever that might be. So don't reinvent the wheel, troop leaders. We're here to help you. I'm going to give you my email address. You can, my cell, you can contact me at any time and use the resources that are out there just to make the kids have fun.
I just want to chime in too. I agree with everything that's already been said. Once the pandemic hit, unfortunately, a lot of people in our troop, as well as even myself, we experienced a lot of loss. So it took us a moment, but we already had a group meet page. So I always kept the parents informed about what our expectations were, what we planned on doing. And I think communication is definitely the key with your troops. After we decided to start meeting virtually, I have to say Girl Scouts is so supportive. And Christy said it best, Alan said it, Fran said it. We have so much support at Girl Scouts. Anything that you're thinking of, somebody's already done it. They already have the kit, the tool, whatever it is you need. There are days that I've asked too, I'm like, I really don't understand this. And then I get that little understanding. And I'm telling you, Kathy is a huge resource. You don't understand it, she already knows it. And she will put it together for you. She'll instruct you, show you even online how to do it. As it was said, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel's already invented. All we have to do is go touch it, get the information we need, and have a successful meeting. So communication is definitely the key with the parents and with our girls. And even right now, it's really important to get the parents involved so they feel like they're still a part of Girl Scouts as well.
And Gabby, can I just add to that? Because that's an excellent comment about the communication. Because if we all think about this, our girls' parents, no matter how old the girls are entrusting us to be safe. So the communication was critical before. It's way more important now, right? So especially when we go outside and we're going to be talking to each other in person, and we can't expect them to all read that long email that came out from the Girl Scouts that parents are supposed to read every day, before every meeting, right? It's not likely to happen. So I think it's incumbent on us, the leaders, to make sure the parents know what's going on and that we're going to keep their kids safe.
Definitely. So does anyone else want to add anything, or can I move on to the next question?
Move on.
Okay. Social contact is very important for children. I should know. Youth that are connected to other children are happier, less anxious, and just have more fun. Even when isolated, parents and troop leaders can help kids stay connected to other girls with modern technology. What are steps that we can take to ensure that girls are sharing their concerns with those they trust and that we are all handling their anxieties properly?
one thing I did is there was a speaker from St. John's University. Now keep in mind, my kids are in high school. So I reached out to a college level professor, and his expertise was called about dreaming during the pandemic. And I have 2 separate troops, and it was a great opportunity how he geared his program 2 separate days for the older girls that were like going into junior year, and then the freshman year group. And what I found is, like Alan said, when the meeting ended, I kind of stepped aside, and then these girls had an opportunity, but it was great. I also used another resource from St. John's. Again, these speakers were free, and it was about we're working on a badge about how girls feel about themselves. In addition, I used Hans Family Foundation for the EAK people. So there's a lot of resources out there, but you as a troop leader have to have like a plan in place because the kids want it and the parents really want it too.
And I want to add to that. Absolutely, I agree. And just ask, what's going on? How are you feeling? I find just ask works really well. So in our troop, one of our leaders is a social worker. And so she has a lot of great information and, making things fun. Identifying with the children that, just like you may be feeling, some of us are feeling the same way. Our girls are scared. They, the uncertainty of what's going on, or even going back to school. A lot of kids had anxiety about going back to school, and making them feel like we have fun on the Zoom together when we're doing our meetings, and just kind of tying it in with their day-to-day life. And if you just ask, you'd be surprised at what the kids will tell you. Some things I'm like, okay, I don't think that was supposed to leave you home, and some things is like, some days I'm like, okay, I understand. But if you just ask, I find that works really, really well.
I agree with what they both said. And it's important to realize that even though they're girls, they have feelings, they have opinions, and we can be that person that they can talk to. And especially I'm finding now with my older troop, it's really nice that we get to talk about current events and things I didn't imagine when they were brownies that we would be talking about. And it's really good to hear their opinions and to let them speak their minds, and they know that it's a safe place. And it's just really important to communicate with your girls. Let them know that you're a safe place.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I like sharing my opinion a lot, so I'm really happy to talk about current events and to share that with the troop. I'm going to move on to the next question. What did you do during the initial stages of the lockdown, and what takeaways did you get from that?
Initially, well, I keep forgetting to say that I was a Girl Scout too. I just had to put that out there. I was a Girl Scout also. Also, the first thing I did, honestly, I don't want to say I was scared, but it was really hard at first because it was such a massive shift in everybody's life, from work to everything. And I think what I did the most was I wanted to let people know, be transparent. This is how I'm feeling, and this is what I'm doing to get by. So what do you think Ms. Fatima should do? And I got little ones, but we also have big ones. And it was just really trying to navigate what we can still do. How can we make it fun? How do we get things so that you're comfortable with them too? Because we found, and like I said, we experienced a lot of loss. So now we have to get back to the comfortability factor. Do you want to jump on? What is it that you may want to do? So it was a whole lot of just tapping into how the girls were feeling and making sure that, and also identifying how I was feeling, because it was kind of overwhelming. I had a daughter who, my youngest daughter was away at school and she got really ill and she couldn't have anybody in there with her. So I'm thinking about that. And at the same time, I want to make sure that you're comfortable, and I want to motivate you and make you feel like, everything is still great. And so I think a big part of it was just making sure I tapped into how our girls felt and letting them know that I can identify and that, together we can work through this.
I quickly learned how to use Zoom because I had no idea what Zoom was.
Me too. I agree.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to take a pulse, because even though my high school girls, you know, oh, we're so busy. They were going to school 2 to 3 hours a day. So I really pushed the gold, and that, like, I was like, we have to get these awards. Like, there's no stopping this train. I'm like, you're either on the train or you're under my train. So let's move forward. And, you know, giving them that leadership, and it really helped the girls to say, okay, there's some sort of normalcy in my life. I'm going to go.
I just want to add one more thing. I apologize, Alan.
No, go ahead.
I too had to learn Zoom really quickly. And then one of the things that I struggled with was I'm having 25 Zoom calls at work, and now we got to Zoom with. I was like, no more Zoom. But then I had to learn to really get patient with Zoom. And one of the things I learned from the girls were this savvy with technology. So I'm like, who's willing to help me to learn how to do this a little better? So that was one of the things that helped us plug in.
Well, and I think not only are they good with technology, right, but they're also good with change, better than us, right? And so I can only speak to the younger kids, but I'm also the shore unit leader. And so we had a troop leaders meeting to talk about this. And we had a troop leader of the now going into first grade, and they were going to disband for a year because they said their kids were too young to handle it. And I told them that I just had a group of first graders, and they thrived on the group Zoom meetings. It was no problem whatsoever for them. And in fact, a lot of the schools aren't doing that much group video instruction, right? Not live group video instruction. And so this is a great opportunity for them to do that. And so they got to participate, and we would always start out by asking them something. And so everybody was contributing. So did they have any difficulties in doing it? Zero, really. We had excellent attendance, and everybody loved it, and they came back every week. So I think we have to assume that the kids are good at adapting, and they have to be right now. They don't have a choice.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I haven't really introduced myself before. As someone who definitely still goes to school for Zoom and everything, while I'm not in high school, I am in college. I personally definitely like to be informed of what's going to come up in like future meetings or anything. So in case if it's like a craft or even just like what books or something I need, I like to know what I'm going to need, not be told like at the beginning of the Zoom, because then it takes away both the beginning of the time and also kind of I was set to go on the Zoom and now I'm running around my house. I want to make sure I get back in time, and just kind of keeping the kids engaged and knowing what they're going to do before it actually happens. I definitely love being told ahead of time. That way I have everything laid out and I'm ready to go.
That's true. Definitely true. I agree.
Yeah, I do too. And one of the things we do prepare to let them know what it is you're going to expect and what we're going to be doing. And I know we had like this big bake-off, and everybody had all their stuff ready and prepared before we went. And I want to say also, as leaders, you can have your calendar prepared for the whole year, because in June we have a meeting of leaders and we prepare our calendar ahead of time. And we always write at the bottom, there's some adjustments that may be made throughout the year. So they always know in advance. Great point. Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, I definitely want to applaud all the troop leaders who learn Zoom in like a day, because like I was just like, oh my gosh, it's the pandemic and we have to learn Zoom. I didn't even know how to learn Zoom. My troop leader did. And it was just like, that is amazing. My teachers, some of them still struggle with Zoom. So it's great to see, you know, the technological advancement with this site, I guess. All right, next question. Are you back to meeting in person, and what strategies are you following to make that successful?
So yes, we started meeting in person. First I took a poll because I thought it was important to see who was comfortable and who wasn't. So with my brownies, 12 girls, which was perfect because we're only allowed 12 girls. 12 girls wanted to meet in person and 3 didn't feel comfortable. So we didn't want to exclude anybody. So what we're doing is we're doing 1 week in person, the next week virtual, the next week in person, the next week virtual. That way the girls who wanted to meet in person feel that sense of social togetherness, and the ones that didn't want to don't feel excluded. And then with my older girls, they wanted to meet in person, but they wanted to do 1 week in person, 1 week virtual also. So that's what we're doing too. And it's been great. We've been meeting at our park. The one thing we did wrong was the first park we met at, didn't realize it was right next to the Northern State and it would be so loud. So we changed and picked a different park. And my older girls, last week we had someone come and we did yoga outside, and it was great. It was so relaxing, and it's really good to see the girls in person, and it's doable, definitely doable.
I live in the Village of Floral Park, and directly across from my house is Centennial Gardens. It's a beautiful garden. There's nobody there. They have 6 or 8 picnic tables when you go down into the gardens. And so I was able to socially distance my troop, 2 girls per table. And then it was very convenient for them because my girls are coming from Garden City, Floral Park, Stewart Manor, Elma. They're coming from all around. So it's almost easier to meet here than anywhere else. So we've only done virtual, and we haven't moved. I'm sorry. We just started, park meetings.
We have not. We're still virtual, but in October we are going to convert over. We getting ready to have we have a parents meeting coming up because it's important that the parents understand our expectations for the year, why we're doing certain things and what we plan on doing, and also get any suggestions, because if you do not, you may get, I just find that it's important that sometimes I have the parents suggestion.
So we are meeting again in person, and I guess my addition to this would be that I don't think we actually have to set very high of a bar for ourselves right now, because really we're in a pandemic and a recession, right? And so the biggest thing for us was just meeting. And so we set an every other week meeting time, and we picked 4 dates and we sent them out and said, this is what we're doing. And at the end of those 4 weeks, we're going to get back together with the girls and with the parents, and we're going to ask, how did it go? What do you think? Because really, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how long we're going to be able to meet in the park, for one thing, right? The weather's going to change. So our goal is just to keep them involved, because we don't want girls to quit Girl Scouts. That's a huge priority right now. And if they learn things, well, that's a bonus, but I don't think it's our priority at the moment.
Definitely, like Fran said, she gave us a choice. We were able to vote whether we wanted to go in person to the park or do online. I was one of the people who chose to go to the park, but for the people who are online, we got to do every other week. So we still got to do online, and we were able to go in person. And I actually enjoyed both meetings a lot. I like online. We play games. We've done charades. We've done a whole bunch of other games. And then the park, we just did yoga, which was really fun. And yeah, I really recommend letting your girls choose what they want to do, because it makes it more inclusive and they feel like they're really involved in the planning for their meetings. Next question. Okay. Girl Scouts and troop leaders tend to instruct their girls on the importance of being civic-minded young future leaders. How can we continue to support our girls and be more inclusive within our own communities during a time in which they are unable to easily go out into neighborhoods?
Well, as I mentioned, my girls are working on a religious award through Girl Scout, it's called the Marion Award. And I'm not saying I don't recommend it, but it is a gold award on steroids. It is so much work. I'm telling these girls, if you do this, the gold award will be a piece of cake. It has kept my girls very busy because, as I've mentioned, I think, Fran, you do it. we've met every week since March 15th virtually. And so there are chapters and there are parts to follow. And a part of that was working on a giving back program, and we adopted a project, a men's shelter. And so the girls are doing it on their own, but we need to come together as a cohesive group to later on make the baskets and the donations. So I still think you can do that. There are so many organizations, you know, the in Hempstead, I could name 50 different places that need your help and guidance. The soup kitchen at OLV, the St. Anne's food pantry. You can do it in your home and drop it off and work together. Absolutely.
I also, just because we're home, we did a huge recycling project, I think it was last year. And the people from the recycling place that we partnered with gave the girls recycled little garbage bins and did a nice little thing with them, certificates, the whole 9 yards. So what I was telling them was, you can still recycle. We can still continue because you're still going to have cans at home. You're going to have soda bottles, all sorts of things. So the recycling doesn't have to stop. We can still do that. Another thing that I thought was huge is, as Chrissy was saying, that there's a lot of places, there's a lot of food pantries. We made it a huge thing about donating for the school supplies. So we didn't let it in with our donation that we did with Girl Scouts. We partnered with someone and we supplied 100 enough school supplies for 100 kids. So it was really awesome. It was fun. Kids love to help other people. They love to know that they are making a difference within the community, if it's at a food bank, and they still can, while they're recycling, maybe when your mom goes to the store, she can get an extra can of something, and I'll drive around, everybody run the cans to my car. We have a box right now that we can go and give to somebody. So those are some of the things that we still wanted them to know, that even though we're in a pandemic, we can still be a blessing to our communities.
Very true.
Something cool that my older girls did. So when Cuomo came out with that contest to wear a mask, the video, the commercial, so I presented it to my older girls. I said, it's up to you. I don't know anything about making a video. If you want to do it, you do it. And there were, how many, Gab? 6 of them? I think 6 of them. And they made a commercial, a 30-second commercial. And then I sent it into Cuomo. We didn't win, but I think we should have. And that was really fun, and getting them, you know, out in the community. It was like a PSA about wearing a mask. That was cool.
I don't know if we're allowed to chime in if we're not one of the speakers, but you know, I'm a leader in Port Washington with the juniors troop, and we did a virtual food drive. So we had flyers we made, and then each girl went on their block and put it in the mailbox of their neighbors who they knew. And then we'd say what items are needed the most, and we had a collection bin. Each person had a bin in their front yard, and then they had a week to collect it. And then me and the other leader, we collected it all and dropped it off at the food pantry. And the girls really loved it because they really felt they were doing something, you know, directly to affect, you know, our pantries that we usually do food drives anyway. And this is a way for them to be able to be in their community and not feel so shut down by not being able to be out at Stop and Shop or whatever, doing our normal food drive. And the girls really enjoyed it.
That's a great idea. You know, the girls want to rise to the occasion. And when you talk about the masks, we as a troop met, and people were trying to sew and knit. And as long as you put your effort out there, it makes such a difference.
Yeah, definitely. I really like to volunteer, and it's a little difficult to do that during the pandemic because you can't really, you know, go face to face too much with other people. But I really like the idea about just keep recycling, because I know that I recycled before, but now I can probably do more since I'm home a lot. I have more time, maybe clean up the streets, collect garbage from the beaches, because I go to the beach sometimes. So yeah, that's a really great idea. I actually really liked that. I'm going to move on to the next question.
Gabby, we actually run out of time. We have to actually move on to the breakout rooms. You've done such a fantastic job. Yes.
Yeah.
So just for, yes, everybody, if you could give her a round of applause, she's really done a great job. And the panelists have been fantastic. Thank you for all that you've contributed to this, because I think it's been really helpful and inspiring too, definitely inspiring. So our Zoom fairy, Ashling, will be manually sending you to your breakout rooms. You will get a message to hit yes to go to your breakout room, and you'll miraculously come back to this main room after it's over so that we can do a wrap up and enjoy your breakout group.
Okay, I'm opening them now.